Let's go a little bit south of Los Alamitos down to Huntington Beach. The Oilers are rolling 2 wins in a row, dominant for them. 35-6 over your alma mater, Howard, the Long Beach Wilson Bruins. Does that sting at all for you, by the way?
You know, it does sting, but I had prepared myself going into the game. I knew it was going to be a rough one for the Bruins just because of, we're so high on Coach Brown and the Oilers and all the talent that they have. So I knew it was going to be a rough night for Wilson.
Howard, the Oilers are rolling 76-6 in their last 2 wins over Western and now Long Beach Wilson. What's been different or what stood out to you about Huntington Beach over these last 2 games?
Well, I think there's been a lot. I think what's been most impressive and what we've heard consistently, including from Coach Brown, is the defense. The defense has been absolutely smothering, with the exception of 1 quarter. So through 3 games, 12 quarters of football, there's only been 1 quarter that wasn't good. That was the first game of the season against Aliso Niguel in the 4th quarter. Other than that, it's been almost perfect from the Huntington Beach defense. So that's what's started off the hot run from Huntington Beach, and it's allowed the offense to get the ball back, to feel fresh, and to dominate as well.
And Coach Brett Brown talked about that when we chatted with him this morning.
To be honest with you, our defense has played well every game, with the exception of a couple drives in the 4th quarter against Aliso. And then our offense is starting to click a little bit right now, too.
A couple of guys who deserve a shout-out, and we gave a shout-out to this guy last week, Jeff Hagedorn. He had a huge week last week, and Coach Brown said that continued, and it was a big reason why Huntington Beach was able to hold Wilson from scoreless for the first 3 quarters and for most of the 4th. Jeff Hagedorn just putting a ton of pressure on the quarterback. Eli Anderson, he's a guy who every single week, his name is big in the stat book. He's a huge contributor for the Oilers defense. In addition, E.J. Riederick, really, really solid, consistent guy. We always know he's going to bring the lumber when it comes to hitting, and he gets all over the field, tracks down the running back. He had 6 or 7 tackles last night. That was impressive. And another guy that we absolutely have to show love to, who came up huge and had a day yesterday, that was Joe Carroll. He had a sack, he had 3 or 4 tackles, and he brought a lot of pressure and a lot of stoutness to that defensive front and that front 7, and he's a guy that deserves some love.
And Howard, as Coach Brown said, the defense has been there, but the offense has been clicking. And in week 1, in their loss to Aliso Niguel, they were without Hideo Ray, they were without left tackle Trent Light, and I really think those were big difference makers getting them back. We saw the impact of Hideo Ray this week. AJ Perez, 4 first-half touchdown passes for the Oilers on Friday against Long Beach Wilson. Offense is finally performing how we thought it would. And I guess my point is just, I think missing Hideo Ray, missing Trent Light in week 1 was a bigger impact than maybe we realized at the time.
And in addition to Trent Light on the offensive line, Will Burke also missed the first 2 games. He's a huge part of what the Oilers do. So getting him back for the Long Beach Wilson game was really big and helped shore up that offensive line play. But some other guys that had big nights, Caleb Kelly came up with 2 touchdowns. Hideo Ray back in the lineup. As you mentioned, Alex, he came up with a touchdown. And also Jordan Castro. He's a guy that we know is big on the defensive end, big defensive cornerback, but he scored a touchdown, had a big night as a receiver for the Oilers. So that was good to see him get in on the action. And just a dynamic group, and they get it done in a lot of different ways. But as we know, it kind of starts and ends with A.J. Perez. He's been putting up 4 touchdowns I think in the last 2 games. So when he's rolling, the offense is rolling, and everything's going right, and he's been hot lately.
Well, there's a reason why I had him as my dark horse MVP candidate for the Sunset League. We'll see if that comes true, but he's finally playing like that after stumbling a little bit in week 1.